On. We stay in the United States for our next story, where US President Donald Trump has celebrated the suspension of late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. Trump called Kimmel untalented and defended Charlie Kirk. He even suggested broadcasters should lose their licenses for negative coverage. The decision to yank Jimmy Kimmel Live came after the comedian mocked Trump and his allies over the murder of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. Let's in fact listen in to the US president.
A lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel had, look, he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings. His ratings were worse than Colbert, I think. They got rid of Colbert, which was a good thing to do. And look, that's something that should be talked about for licensing too. When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump. That's all.
Now America is reacting to the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's talk show. Jon Stewart has returned to The Daily Show early with a satirical take on what television might look like under President Donald Trump's media control. The set turned gold and Stewart played a host too afraid to speak freely. The segment was sharp, cynical and deliberately less funny than usual, making a point about censorship and double standards. Let's in fact listen in to The Daily Show.
This swirling around, are the naysayers and the critics right? Is Donald Trump stifling free speech?
Of course not, John. Americans are free to express any opinion we want. To suggest otherwise is laughable. Ha, ha, ha. We are a nation of diverse perspectives, and we are not afraid to be different.
Ronnie, what's up with your tie? You're gonna get us in trouble. No, look, this is the only red tie I have. Okay, it's fine. It's not red. It's pink. It's not pink. It's at least salmon. All right. That's a shade of red.
It's not red enough. It's got to be mugger red.
Calm down. God, is this your first dictator? Listen.
Fans of Jimmy Kimmel have criticized the decision, and protesters rallied outside Kimmel's Hollywood studio, demanding his return. Let's take a listen in to what some of the protesters had to say.
We are actively seeing the First Amendment, our freedom of speech, being stripped of us, and not just the general public. Those rich, white, famous men like Colbert and Kimmel, who have a gigantic platform and still are being deplatformed. The freedom of speech is our American constitutional right of freedom of speech is being taken from everyone. People at the top and people at the bottom. And we need to stand up to it. Stand up to Trump. Stand up to the violation of the Constitution everywhere we see it.
It's illegitimate. It's fascist suppression of speech. This is a dictator move. You have the FCC who's saying that we could do this the easy way, we could do this the hard way. This is a fascist takeover of America, and the only way we're going to stop it is through the power of the people. November 5th in Washington, D.C. Be there.
Okay, we are now joined by David K. Johnson. He's an American author and professor of criminal justice, journalism, law and political science at Rochester Institute of Technology. And he joins us live from New York in the United States. Thank you very much, David, for joining us here on this topic. The US president has also said today that he has suggested that some TV networks should have their licenses taken away. He has said maybe to this in his usual Trump fashion. Of course, a characteristic of a dictator is a suppression of free speech. Of course, Charlie Kirk and America as a whole, it's the First Amendment. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Kimmel being removed from his post, like he has done, over the comments that he did make over Charlie Kirk?
Well, I've reported going back many years Donald's statements that it should be against the law to write or say anything about him unless he approves. Now, in the last presidential campaign a year ago, Trump said, we're going to end the suppression of speech by the tyrannical Biden administration. There will be free speech in my administration. And as you're seeing now, no, he is a dictator. As I've been saying for the last 7 months, Donald has declared himself dictator. You will not say that which I don't approve of. And the attacks on the TV stations threatening their licenses, I assure you, will be very powerful. I am the only journalist in history in America who caused a broadcast chain to have to shut down and go out of business because they had corrupt, dishonest news reports. So this is a subject I know very well. This action by Trump has sparked a huge public opposition. Even people who like Trump and probably have never watched Kimmel have been quoted all over the U.S. in the last 36 or so hours saying this is not right, this is not what to do. And the three largest owners of television stations, we used to limit to 7 stations, now there's no limit, are all doing exactly what Trump wants because they need the approval of the Federal Communications Commission for business deals if they're going to go ahead with deals already in the works. So what you're seeing is the use of the White House by Donald Trump to impose his will, to suppress things he doesn't like. And finally, Donald has no capacity to laugh at himself. He and I had talked about this very subject in the late 1980s. He cannot laugh about himself. And so other presidents, Lyndon Baines Johnson famously, yeah, the people on TV make fun of you. You know, it's part of the job of being president. Donald cannot stand that. He is such a petty, hollow, empty vessel of a man that he simply cannot deal with people making fun of him, as Barack Obama did in 2011 on the very night that he had decided to wait one day before going after Osama bin Laden. And President Obama, that night at what's called the White House Correspondents' Dinner, was where he's roasted by the journalists. He turned around and roasted the journalists. And Trump was in the room and he said, you know, I'm so glad I don't have to carry the heavy and the weighty decisions of Donald Trump, like, should I fire the singer Meatloaf on Celebrity Apprentice? And everyone in the room is laughing except Donald Trump, who is stone-faced, and one of the reasons he hates Obama so much is that he was made fun of because he has no capacity to deal with that.
Yes, David K. Johnson, thank you very much for explaining that. Great insight there. We now move on to our next story.